AA batteries, AA, are they like to get pretty hyper aggressive at certain times, but they were shut down yesterday by PDHM. I want to see if they're going to translate that over to Haven, and especially to note that Arial Arise is starting on the attacking side. So we've seen them get very aggressive in the pistol rounds. On a map like Haven, I can only expect that hyper aggression to be doubled. Starting up into round one right here on the map, it is Arial Rise versus VGA. I'm more than excited to see how this is going to play out.
Now, keep in mind, this is for all the eggs in the basket. It's not like yesterday where at least they could go into the loser's bracket. This is the loser's finals. Of this best of three, if one team doesn't win, they're going to go home. This is for everything if they want to have a chance to have $100 right now. And right away, we are going to see a bit of a split push again. It's the pistol round, so everyone, should group up together a little bit more than we will be seeing in future rounds. And it's looking like maybe the C push will be the ideal situation. Now we do see on VGA side, we do see that Cypher playing on A site, and he's holding it down really well, but he's not going to see a whole lot of aggression there. Early on, we already see C-Long having a lot of contesting, and that's going to be on the garage push as well. Back and forth between the two teams. Raph comes out on top, taking on Polonium, and that's going to be C-Site completely taken over.
C-Site hasn't taken over, and the spike is going down now, still on a 4v4 situation. A soul for a soul has been traded, but at what cost? So the fence lost their smoke. Meanwhile, Cypher has already wasted a lot of his utility on the attacking side. Now, Sage Wall's up in garage here. He's getting knifed down, but the smoke in hand is immediately as well. Oh, that's going to be stepped up, taken out by Mindless. The Frenzy gunning him down. Rick is going to find another one as well, and the headshot on the stun. Raph, however, trying to hold it back as best they can. The attacker's being forced back for as long as Raph finds 3 on the round. Make that 4 with Matt hearing the lack of an ace for Raph. Raph, a 4K to go absolutely bonkers. And that is going to be VGA, or rather Arial Rise, winning the first round.
Now, Raph getting 4Ks or even 3Ks is completely not uncommon for him and his team. We had seen a similar play, I believe, on Bind last night in the last match between himself and PDHM Gaming. Unfortunately, even with those 4Ks, didn't quite go as they planned, and that's why they're in this position they are right now. But all things considered, that's a very good start for Arial Arise. They just need to keep up this momentum now, and it's looking like they're just going to switch it up a little bit. Going to go for the buys a little bit more and go for an A push. We do see a little bit of resistance on B as well, so they could be scouting it out and maybe trying to get a pinch on the A, but suddenly that aggression's no longer there.
Back to rotate through their spawn area and going for a full A-long take by the look of it. Omen and Creep going through the bottom of the map there, but they're going to be addressed by their contenders. Toasty Toaster and Stun to Raph all finding one for himself, but A-Short is in control now for Arial Arise. The attack has gone into full force, and the spike has been planted. Once again, about the retake situation. We got 1 on site and 2 on site. One with the classic, but playing a shutdown quickly by Matt, finding 2 huge kills, and the attackers going to win that round. Once again, another round in the bag for Arial Arise. You know,
Great.
Say,
What's up?
Absolutely amazing. That's exactly what we need.
The aggression is a really hard thing for a lot of defenders, it seems, in AGN to deal with. Usually when the team is more aggressive, it's easier for the attack. Now, of course, I did mention AGN, but that really goes across a lot of competitive Valorant in general. But it just seems like in AGN, these last 3 teams that we have alive, whoever's the most aggressive will win.
That's very true. And obviously, this is not the most up-to-date, obviously not the most 12-hour strategy. These are teams that are really getting into the swing of things. So aggression is something that was that, but rather Rick getting wonderful kill, shutting down Steph and Matt one after another. Baseline goes well. The grenade goes out from Raze. Mindless saving the life of Rick before he can get shut down once again by Space. Kills coming out on every single side now, and it's left to a 2v2. Make that a 2v1 for the defenders. Toasty is going to be in garage, going for the kill onto Raph. The immediate refrag from his teammate. The first round in the bag for VGA.
A very nice start for VGA. They got the ball rolling, all things considered, before things got really worse. This is still a good indicator for a close game, and so far we've only seen A and C side attempts. We haven't really seen too much of a B side attempt. We did see a little bit of it in round 2 between the Omen and the Breach, but that was shut down pretty quickly into the rotate onto, I believe, A site. Now, the prep phase is almost over, and we do see some ults on the board. We do have VGA with their Showstopper and Hellfire, and so that could be really, really good for denying a plant. Now, we do see the opening picks come out from Space going on the Toasty, but of course, Toasty goes down, but Roasty's there to help refrag Toasty and taking down Space. A minute 23 left on the clock, and there's already a man disadvantage again for the defenders. The revive comes out just in time because now the Neural Theft is back on Space. Most of the defenders are hiding on A right now, and it seems like the attackers don't really know what they want to do. Arial Arise is debating about if they want to go for A again, or maybe trying to bait out a rotate onto C. And it seems like even if they do want to bite out the rotate, they're still going to go for C anyways. Now, Stuns is being a man with a plan. He's going to be the sacrifice, seeing how A is looking right now. But that Cypher's hiding on his right. He doesn't look at the corner, and Roasty takes him down. And that's going to be a good indicator that, hey, C site is to be under control. Now, that's going to be the plan going down with 30 seconds left. It's not looking good for the defenders. They're not aware up until now that there's a full rotate going on. We see a mad scramble coming on from Arial Arise, and they get shut down from the Sage Wall. It's looking really good for the Arial Arise right now. They have it all completely shut down. There's no rotates really available for VGA, and they're struggling so much. They're all grouped up in the corner, but Rinka wants to go for it. Ghoststopper comes down and barely takes down Space. Matt claps back, taking down Rika just after that kill, and Mindless kills Matt, but it's not enough. Or is it? It's a one. Never mind. What was once a 1v3 is now a 1v1. Raph with a double kill. Gonna be taking down everybody except that last Omen. It's a battle of wits between the two. He goes for the defuse. He tries to use his own shadows to block out that visibility. He gets the kill onto Raph, but Polonium gets sacrificed along with the diffuser. Unfortunate and a very valiant attempt. Almost a comeback, Casey, but not quite enough.
You know, it was very close there, and I have to say that Raph really saved the day there. You know, when it came down to a 1v3, Raph kept himself cool, calm, and collected, which is exactly what we'd love to see. He was not worried about overpeaking. He was taking people out systematically, and he saved that Hellfire for the most ideal moment. You know, the one moment that he's not going to be able to get that long peak certified, and he's going to rather deny the entirety of a defuse. The garage wall is being shot down very quickly here from Matt. Lead me to believe it may be a garage to C take, but we're not too sure about that. A lot of the defenders are spread out across the map still. A lot of possible rotates coming out here, actually. Coming out from the Phoenix, Brim, and the Cypher. We can see some engagement on the map right there. Steph taking him out, though. Most of the attackers inside of the garage now. Cypher's ultimate comes out, revealing the locations of the remaining defenders. Now the flank is aware. Stuns finding it another on the round is going to take down Rika Bunkers. That is absolutely... that's a huge pick. Now, the reason why that's a huge pick is because that was one of the main defenders that were not on the flank. Now it's going to be left all up to the Omen to try to hold it back, but it's going to be a B take rather, and Spike goes down. Stuns finding it another on the round is going to take down Polonium. Now the Omen is taken out. The classic coming out from Roasty and Toasty, the Toasty-Roasty duo, putting in work against that breach, taking him down and not allowing him to use his ult. But Spike's down. The 45-second timer began 15 seconds ago, and it's going to have to be a quick retake from the defenders if they want to make any sort of thing happen here.
Shadows traveling.
Time is counting down. It's a 2v4, and if you're the defenders, you're kind of worried a little bit. Toasty's on the other side of the map, already given up, it seems, looking for those exit frags. Roasty wanted to give it a chance, but unfortunately, Roasty wasn't quite there for Toasty, and Toasty wasn't there for Roasty, and that's going to be Toasty saving their lives, but Roasty unfortunately gets roasted along with them. And even then, Toasty unfortunately gets roasted along with them. Space finds him, and that's going to be another win on the board for Arial Arise. And what was once a really close game in those first beginning rounds is suddenly turning into bomb plant after bomb plant and no real post plant defense coming out.
If does not seem to be that way. Now, obviously, Arial Rise is taking sites very aggressively on their attacking half, and that is just absolutely phenomenal. Now, the reason for that being such, there being so much hyper aggression here from the attacking team is once again the fact that there has to be a full spread of attackers and defenders. Toasty, however, scratching my words, is going to make himself very aggressive with his run it back. Dragon in hand is going to get shut down before he can make anything happen. Inside the smoke coming out, not able to find the Cypher, and rather giving a little bit of ego to the other team by finding that kill. I have to appreciate the hyper aggression, but I feel that could have been saved for maybe a better moment. But had you found the pick, that would have been absolutely huge, as every single member of Arial Rise has been putting in a lot of work, doing their daily duties.
A really interesting run it back, to be sure, but not too much of a welcome one. It gets shut down right away, and it really didn't provide much intel that you can use later in the match. We still see everyone alive going into the last 45 seconds, and really that was just a waste of an ult. Now, the Breach still has his ult, and actually not sure what the formal term for it is other than huge mega wall of death. But it looks like they're... Oh. Rolling Thunder. Thank you, Observer. And that's going to be the Rolling Thunder coming out as soon as we said it. He gets stalled out a little bit by the Molly on the ground. Cybercage in his way as well, but he's going to provide a huge distraction for A site. It looks like it's going to be prepped for A, but hey, guess what, VGA? You've been debated, because the spike goes down on C site. Everyone's still alive, and this is going to turn into a very, very nasty situation. Everyone is still alive, like I said. No ults on the board other than the Sage revive. And they're coming in like ants going one by one. And I don't think this is going to go well with KC.
Yeah, another wonderful bait from the side of Arial Rise as they get the spike down and delayed a lot of time of the defenders having to rotate across the map. Now, Sage ult means that they can revive a teammate, but Toasty is going to be the one to find the first kill. Immediate refrags on the other teams. Multiple people falling in very quick succession, but it's going to be VGA to get that defuse down as quick as they possibly can. Toasty left in the 1v2 is not going to find it though, as Raph puts a bullet to his dome. And the spike is going to explode. It's going to be another round win for Arial Rise. Something we saw yesterday from them. Wonderful, wonderful baits. Now, that is what I love to see, but VGA, you cannot fall for something like that. Unfortunately, it was just too much for VGA to deal with. Time's counting down, the final seconds are arriving. You have to make something happen. When you see someone drop their ultimate on a site, you don't expect, especially the Breach, you don't expect it to be anything less. Toasty trying to find the first kill here though, with the Marshall not going to find much success with it.
Yeah, those baits, I mean, you cannot take such a linear progression from what we've been seeing so far for VGA. Once they think someone's rotating around, that's what they go for and go for only. And we do see two bodies off the board on VGA's side going for it, and it looks like they've been baited once again because there's no rotating this time around. The spike goes down, you lost your top fragger and your top support, so you're just mostly down to another two more duelists, a duelist and a controller and a support, one of each, to maybe bring this back. Now, the Omen does have his ultimate, he does have his teleport, but it's not a great situation to use it. All of the attackers are completely spread out, and Stuns does find a kill onto Mindless, so you've lost out on that utility. It's a 2v5, and if you're VGA right now, you're in a really bad position because you could rotate in your sewers like we see the Rage attempting to do, or you could be Polonium stuck at the top of heaven, completely screwed over. And so Polonium goes for the jump, but it's a jump of death, and Rika sees what's going on and realizes this is a terrible idea. Maybe I can go frags and frags, or I can get stuck at the top of heaven and be killed by the bomb. So again, a 5-round lead right now for AA batteries is looking really good. I guess you could say they've been charged up.
I gotta say, Kek, I love that. It's
thank you.
Perfect example to show here.
I'm very punctilious.
Thank you. I gotta say here that Arial Rise last night, however, was not showing up nearly as well as this against PDHM. Now, leave it to the fact that PDHM may be a better team. Leave it to the fact that it may have just been because Arial Rise has been playing so much already that day. We can't really tell. We can't decide. We can't know what's happening in their minds. But nonetheless, it was a beautiful, this is a beautiful showing from Arial Rise here. but Polonium very well could shut this down. Operator in his hands going to send out those paranoias. That's going to be a lot of smokes, and once again, if you would like to turn your attention to the top left corner, we see another rotation coming out after a lot of utility has been dumped, but VGA is not going to fall for it this time around. They got people still spread out across the map on every ideal possible point. Looks to be a garage and B take by the looks of it. From the hands of Arial Arise, a potential gunfight could ensue in the next few seconds, but they're going to have to make it quickly. 50 seconds left on the clock as Garage is now in control for Double A's.
Mindless has the right idea. He stayed on Garage the entire time. He was aware of it. Mindless does find stuns, and Space and Steph go down right after. It's looking really good for VGA right now. They've trapped the entire attacking team. They've trapped all of Double A inside of their own B side trap, and they fell for it like honey, or like bees to honey, or ants to sugar. I don't really know what the term is, but they fell for it in a flawless win against VGA, and that was a round that VGA really needed. Their economy's looking a lot better now. They get to keep their weaponry, which I would say is almost as important, if not more important, than the win themselves. No one died, so they don't have to rebuy, and they can hold on to their double op, double vandal, and their phantom setup. Now, there's going to be a little bit of worrying for Double A, but they have to rebuy all their equipment, and while their economy is still not as bad as VGA's, they can't let rounds like that slip away again. They need to start rethinking of their strategy.
They cannot let happen, but, you know, winning so many rounds in a row, they don't have to worry about their economy too much. A potential amount of damage coming out here from the side of Roasty and Toasty. Cypher's going to lose a little bit of health, and that's going to be Toasty being shut down by Mindless's own Molly. No! Phoenix, you're supposed to heal in the fire, not die to it, but apparently the Brimstone cannot read that effectively. It's going to be everyone making their way onto A site now. Mindless finding another. It's going to be the spike down in the site, but not effectively down. It's going to not be planted. Gonna have to pick that up and re-go for it. Raph finds kill on the Polonium up top, but Mindless still going to be up top as Amali goes for the charge on Raph. That's going to be Mindless now, finding yet another kill. However, this time the spike does go down effectively for the side of Arial Arise. A 2v2 situation makes that a 2v1. It's going to be left all up to Space to Cypher, but he's not going to be able to find the final kill. He takes out Mindless, but the immediate refrag from Rika is going to give him a second round win in a row. What a round, Kick.
Yeah, what a round, Casey. I'm not much of a psychologist or anything like that, but what I can imagine is that maybe Double A right now is kind of at a standstill. They've been rotating a lot, and they've been baiting out a lot of their attacks and getting those spike plants down, but now it seems like no matter where they go, VGA has caught up to what exploits they want to use and want to be there immediately for that post-plant situation. And so even going for the direct attacks like we saw last round was shut down pretty quickly. And even though it was brought down to only one defender being left alive, that's still a bad situation to be in. And it looks like, again, they're going to go straight for another A plant. This didn't work well last round, but it looks like they want to go for it again, maybe with some corrections. Keep in mind, Mindlessly did accidentally kill their Toasty, like you said, so maybe without that team kill in play, they could have a better chance of bringing it back. Now, we do see a lot of vision denial, and Raph does get the opening pick onto Roasty. It's suddenly a huge back and forth. It's a slaughter fest. Mindless gets another kill on the stuns, and that spike has gone down again.
Spike has gone down. That's absolutely huge, but the tripwire has been activated now, and that's going to be both the Omen and the Cypher stun. Trying to come in on the rotate, or the Omen and the Brimstone, rather. Trying to come in on the rotate. Not going to find a lot of effectiveness. They're going to have to go for the site retake, but multiple attackers are actually rather far off site. That's going to be Mindless now, dropping down, killing Space, the only member effectively on site, as Defuse is going to begin. Or it could, but it's going to be mollied, rather. It's going to be kills coming out from every single side, and it may be too little too late now, as it's going to be a full retreat from Rika. Polonium is going to be the one to fall, but regardless of the amount of kills that's going to come out from either side, the spike has detonated, and that's going to be another win for Arial Arise. A beautiful return back to victory after a couple of rounds of falling off.
Yeah, there's actually a huge return, like you said right now, for VGA. And in fact, if you look at the scoreboard right now, it's really not too far off from Double A's either. So there's a lot of questions I have in my mind. The top frags are essentially the same, both coming out from the Brimstone. It's really a matter of just getting those proper positions in place when it comes for Arial Arise to get that spike plant down. Normally when they get it, that's the round already over. The pulse plant hasn't been great, but now suddenly VGA's woken up a little bit. They've gotten rid of their wiggles and, all their nerves. Or maybe not, because Stuns gets that opening kill, but the immediate retrag from Toasty, taking down Stuns.
Soul for a soul on the side of both teams, however. The ultimates of each operator are going to be lost now very early on, but it's going to be a save from the side of VGA. Polonium, the only one on C-side right now, is going to have to deal with Purple Frenzy. Spike has been planted, and he tries to find the first kill in the space, but is outgunned by the Phantom in the hands of Space. Immediately shut down once again by Rika. Refresh coming out everywhere. The Sage is very close, however. Seth finding a kill on Toasty, and that's going to be a kill. 2 kills for Arial Arise, but the Hellfire now coming out. The Spike isn't halfway defused, but it's all left up to the Brimstone and Omen. It's going to be Mindless pushing down C long now, trying to delay them as long as they can, but that is not enough. The Molly came out as well, and that shut every potential for a defuse down. It's going to be another win for Arial Arise now as we switch to the last round before the half is up. Now, after this round, everyone's going to lose their credits, so there's no point in saving, but that's something we saw Arial Arise have to do, and is attempting to make VGA do towards this final round, so they can get even a stronger advantage here.
Now, the scoreboard isn't looking nearly as even as it was the last round. We see 3 members of Arial Arise with triple digits on the board, and only Rika at 8 kills is the second closest to coming close to getting double digits. Now, like you said, the last round in the first half, it's gonna be an interesting one because already we see Toasty going in for a very aggressive run it back. Unfortunately, the intel might be there, but the frags are not, and we're seeing a split push going in the C site once again. Now, a lot of VGA is pushed back this time. We're not seeing the same aggressive plays we've seen the last few rounds, and that could be an indicator of why they're already on the site. Arial Arise is already on the site. We do see them clouding onto the site, but Space already has his positioning down. That's gonna be a headshot. Going onto Mindless, double kill, never mind. And Mad finds Polonium. Suddenly you're down to 2 people left. You have Toasty and Roasty, the red duo. Toasty does find Stuns again for another round in a row, but unfortunately, he's in such a horrible position. He's spread out and away from his teammate. The other Omen has a great position on him, and that's going to be Steph finding Toasty, and it's down to just Roasty. Roasty's not alive for much longer, however, and Matt takes him down, and that's going to be your first half, ladies and gentlemen, of Map 1 versus VGA and Arial Arise. Arial Arise is looking so good on that attack, but now VGA is on the other side.
Back to the pistol rounds we go, and like you said, they look very good on attack, but this is a attacker-sided map. So the answer that we're going to need to find here to the question that we're begging is VGA going to come back? We cannot tell just yet, but if they have a half anything like Arial Arise did, then we're going to see this go to overtime. But of course, with a 3-9 split, that is not the most ideal by any means. It's going to be a real sweaty 4 rounds to win for Arial Arise. And well, we're back to this pistol round, which historically Arial Arise usually come out on top of. Even on their competitors that they were against yesterday, PDHM, the people who were who 2-0'd them yesterday, they at least won the pistol rounds. They were showing a lot of aggression, even on the defending side. So I'm excited to see exactly how this is going to go. But the sides have flipped, strategies change, everything changes. The camera up though for Space is going to alert them that this is going to be an A-site take. Cyber Cage out now is going to be launched with Toasty finding the first kill for the attacking side. Things already looking up for VGA now, as it's going to be a full-fledged rotate from everyone. No one's on site though. Only thing we have is a Brimstone in heaven, and everyone else funneling in through CT. Spike is down now. Inside the smoke is going to be Toasty, possibly coming to odds against Sage. Is going to take some shots onto her, but is not going to find a kill just quite yet. Going to be stunned by the breach here, but that's only going to be a single member of the Phoenix. The wall goes up now. The Phoenix is trapped inside, but Toasty with 3, Toasty with 4. Can he find the ace? No, he cannot, because Polonium will seal it out from under his toes. But Toasty, the MVP of the round, finding 4 huge kills.
Not bad at all for Toasty. What a great opening dialogue, essentially, for VGA side. I believe this might be the first pistol round we've seen, at the very least, a long time that Arial Arise did not win, if at all, the whole season that they have lost. That's a really, really good indicator for VGA right now, and it's only a 5-round difference between the two teams, and this is a great chance for them to bring it back. What it really counts, though, is that Arial Arise in the past has been able to psych themselves out pretty easily, expecting these crazy rotates to happen that just don't. And so it's going to be a matter of now of whether or not they can actually stay concurrent with their enemy team to see where that spike is actually going to go. And so far the answer is yes. It looks like they figured out exactly what the plan is, and it's going to be a seaside push. And we do see most of Arial Arise hiding out inside of Garage. They're all really bunched up on that stim beacon. I'm not sure what the plan is because it's a little too to the left to get any angles going onto the site. But Sun says, screw it, I'm going on, and gets the headshot on the Polonium like it was nothing. And that's going to be a diffuse going, no, not quite yet, not going down just yet. That's going to be Steph with a triple kill onto the majority of Arial Arise. I'm sorry, of VGA, and Roasty is the last one alive yet again. Casey, this is not the first time, nor probably the last we've seen Roasty in that 1vx situation.
It is not, but unfortunately, without his duo Toasty, there's not a lot that's going to be able to happen. We saw Toasty going absolutely massive last round, but he's not around to do that again. You cannot rely on that one player, just like you cannot rely on someone to clutch up 1vx. Yes, it is possible, but no, it is not likely. Now, Steph finding 3 kills in the round, absolutely huge, and getting that spike defuse is going to mean a whole world of good for the economy of Arial Arise. Now, once again, the question that I have to ask is how are the next rounds going to add up? Because the economy is going to be about equal now, and after that, Arial Arise is possibly going to go on absolute form on a rampage. They're going to get their hopes up, but maybe we'll see some more hyper aggression now. That is exactly what we're seeing from VGA now. Space finds 1 kill, but it's going to get very easily pinched from the likes of 2 others. The run it back from the Phoenix is already going to have expired, but not without already using its worth and force and getting 1 kill. Now, they got a lot of control on the A site, but immediately retreated back to A long. Spike has been fallen down now. It's in a place that's going to be very difficult to retrieve for any of the attackers. Frags coming out on every single side, and Toasty yet again on another burner as Phoenix going to find 3 kills. But Wrath is going to shut that down very quickly. Down to a 1v1 now, though. Polonium is going to be the one to finish it out and round out round number 15 at a 5-10 deficit for VGA.
When it comes down to it, you gotta play aggressive, but if you keep going for the same maneuvers over and over again, it's not gonna work out. We did see the C side push a few rounds ago, and that was shut down. And then we saw the A side push again, maybe going for B this time. It is Haven after all. There are 3 sites. Wouldn't be the worst option. It's pretty close to a bad option, but it's still something you haven't tried yet if you're VGA. Now we do see what seems to be a split push again. No, never mind. No real aggression other than Raph getting the quick scope on the Toasty. That spike is still down, and there's no real poking or prodding to be seen of what they want to do next. Now, Stuns does have a potential angle on this raise, but not quite enough to really secure the kill. Now, that Brimstone's going to get the spike on VGA's side, and it looks like it's going to be geared towards an A side push. Now, typically, we see only Cyphers on A, but that bundles up really quick to the Sage and usually the other C side defenders going over really quick. Now, the Tripwires are in interesting spots right now. They're more selfishly oriented towards the Cypher, and it's not so much going to be put on Sewers to delay an aggressive push.
Well, if he's going to be the only one holding on the A site, the selfishness is not something we're going to have to worry about much. Razebot coming out now is going to be shot immediately down by Matt. He's going to have a backup on site now. Both Cypher and Sage are going to be sitting on site, so it's going to be less attractive for the attackers to try to take. Stuns, however, make it even less attractive as he takes down the Cypher on the attacking team. It's going to be a 3v5 advantage in terms of man count now for Arial Arise, as the attackers have to make something happen quick. Now, the potential flank is being read really quickly, but there's only 10 seconds left. They don't have time to make it anywhere, so they're just going to go back and they're going to save. They're going to decide, hey, we don't have time to make anything happen, so we'd rather just take this. Of course, they could be picked off pretty early on, like Sun's going to come off right here. He's going to go for the kill on the Rick, but is not going to find it. Soul for a soul, but a little bit of economy save for both sides could mean the world of difference. But we are 2 rounds away from Arial Arise taking the first map, Keg. This is not looking the best for VGA.
It's not looking good, but they've had a lot of success on attack so far. They've gotten a few more rounds than we've seen them get on the defense, which is saying something, but it's still a 5-score, but not even a lead. It's just 5 scores on the board compared to the 6 more they need to get to even it out. Again, they're going to go for the A side push again, and we have seen this time and again, and there's no real creativity for how they want to push. They keep going for the same exact C strat or A strat over and over again without really learning from their mistakes. Now, if the Brimstone's going to blind them out, the camera on Space does shine out on the attack. Cyber Cage goes down. It's going to be a huge slaughter fest already. Space does find Mindless, and it's going to be a back and forth between the teams as soon as one can find the other. Toasty is going to blind out the left side of a Link to make sure no defender can go through without taking damage. Space says, screw it, I want those kills. I need to get those knowledge. And he sees the Brimstone. Now it's going to be 2 of the attackers hiding inside of Hell right now. They do have a defender on top of Heaven. That's going to be Raph holding down a huge long push on the A. That's going to be Raph finding and connecting onto Roasty. That spike is still down and no one seems to be defusing it. And more importantly, there's no attackers left on A site. It's down to Rika, last one alive right now, and that diffuser is going to go down. If that diffuser... Oh, never mind, but that first kill from Space onto Space is going to shut it down. And a second one is going to be a second too late. That defuse does go down, and immediately the 3K on that grenade is going to go to Steph. Now, you know, if that was a second earlier, that could have been a round win for VGA, but unfortunately, they just gave up on the site way too quickly, and they got punished for it accordingly.
We do have a term for moments like this, and that term is going to be map point. For Arial Arise. You know what, Cake? That works just as fine as well. But I gotta say, I gotta commend Rika for the ability to hold sight and try to hold that defuse for as long as she could. Wasted all of the ability on the raise that they possibly could, but did not find it in the end. Now, thankfully, due to the new X-rays in the API, we can see a raise very aggressively trying to push here, but the op is not going to land the shots onto them just yet. A C4 gone out to boost them back. Now, a very close engagement here. Stuns finds 2, 3 through the other one. Stuns going absolutely massive now. Finding 3 kills so early on. And I hate to say it, but at a point in time like this, the map is all but over for VGA. And 2 versus 5 situation to retake, make that 2v4. Could turn to a quick 2v3, but no! Stuns does not want to deal with that. He's going to find 4. Can he find the ace? No, he cannot. First, he's going to shut it down. It's going to be the man himself, the Cypher, to try to bring it back. But it's going to very quickly get denied by the hands of the Brimstone now. It's going to be map 1 in favor of Arial Arise. We are going to go on to Bind now, which they have done pretty well on.